Getting the most out of networking events. What's the purpose of networking events? People go to networking events for different reasons. Usually it's either to learn something, meet with people who are like-minded, or go fishing for prospects. One thing that everybody has in common is that they know it's not easy, especially when starting out. Here are 5 helpful tips for getting the most out of networking events. Number 1, just go for it. It's gonna be weird no matter what. I've been to a lot of networking events, and I can tell you from firsthand experience that it's terrifying. The idea of walking up to strangers, introducing yourself, and starting a conversation can make almost anyone's anxiety skyrocket. In my experience, I've found that the easiest thing to do is just go for it. I'm talking about picking someone or a group of people, turning off your brain, and just walking over. It's weird, scary, and intimidating, but if you can get to this point, the rest of it will take care of itself. Pro tip, make sure you're dressed appropriately for the event. Number 2, politely wait until you're acknowledged. Once you're standing in the group, do not interrupt anyone. Wait until they stop talking and look at you. Once you have their attention, simply introduce yourself, shake everyone's hand, and ask what they do for work. Boom. Now a conversation is happening. Naturally, someone will eventually ask you what you do for work or why you're at the event. The objective in these conversations is to figure out what everyone does for work. After spending a few minutes talking about everyone's occupation, it's time to decide if you should keep talking or move along. Number 3. It's okay to cut the conversation short and move along. It's easy to get stuck in a conversation of pleasantries. They're fun, they're social, and everyone is enjoying learning about each other. But remember why you're there. The objective of a business networking event is to find people you might be able to do business with. This might mean you hire them, they hire you, or it's a collaborative type situation. If no one in the group is going to benefit from you, or vice versa, it's perfectly acceptable after 5 or 10 minutes to excuse yourself from the conversation. Just say something like, well, it was great meeting all of you, but I think I need to keep mingling. I'll see you guys around. Getting the most out of networking events means always being conscious of how your time is being spent. Pro tip. Before exiting a conversation, ask if they've met anyone in a specific industry at the event so far. By doing this, you're tapping into other people's networks, and it can lead to you saving a lot of time shaking hands and making your own introductions. If they have met someone of interest, asking them to introduce you can ease the intimidation of making your own introduction. Most of the time, they'll be fine with it, and it might even make you look good. Number 4, looking for that one person. Do not be the person making rounds, handing out a million business cards. Just because someone has a pocket doesn't mean that your business card belongs in it. Sure, it might lead to something way down the line, which is great, but if there's tons of people at the event, your time is better spent looking for that one perfect connection. If you meet one single person at an event that you actually end up doing business with, that event was a success. One quality contact is worth so much more than 1,000 contacts that won't go anywhere. Number 5, setting the appointment while you're still at the event. If your goal is to set sales presentations or set up an appointment, do it immediately. People like to talk big, especially when they're socializing. You have to remember, a lot of times at networking events, there's alcohol there. Sometimes there's not, but a lot of times there is. Locking the person down to a date and time in the moment, using your calendar either on your phone or your iPad or whatever, will actually help them follow through with showing up to the appointment. Once they go home, you're just another business card in their stack. By setting something concrete immediately, the chances of that appointment actually happening are much greater. Getting the most out of networking events is a numbers game. You always hear sales is a numbers game. In this situation, getting the most out of networking events means you're selling yourself in a social environment to find the best matches. Simply put, the more hands you shake and introductions you make, the higher chances you have of meeting the right person. You might have to talk to 100 people before meeting the person that's going to make a difference. As a general rule for networking events, make introductions, be polite, be personable, and move along until you find what you need. Conclusion: getting the most out of networking events can be pretty scary, especially if you're new to the idea. Remember, everyone has some form of social anxiety, so you're not alone. Follow the steps I just mentioned and you'll be on your way to closing deals in no time.